I have in my hand the funnel we use to take startups to market profitably. I know it's flip. I just like the way my face looks when the camera's flipped this way. Yes. I'm going to be showing you the funnel we use to take startups to market profitably. And this doesn't matter if you have no audience, no past track record. We're assuming you're a brand new founder. You could even be a tech professional, somebody who has expertise in something and you want to productize into a software business, any kind of service business, you want to get into SaaS, something like that. You're trying to launch a software startup and you want to get the market profitably. I'm going to show you the funnels we use, and depending who you sell to, it's going to be a little bit different. But the process is all the same, easy, simple, 3 steps. I will get to it and show you what that looks like. All right, so I'm going to show you what we focus on. You're starting from the front and you're going to work your way to the back. The front being the marketing, the acquisition, the sales. The back being the closed transaction with a prospect, client, whoever. Now, first thing you want to focus on is the front end. And the main thing that I notice with a lot of founders that we work with, professionals, if they're trying to productize all this stuff, is that they focus on the product first, which is great. But when you're first starting, you really need to put a lot of effort on the awareness, the marketing, the sales side. Because if no one knows about your product, you will not be able to sell anything, and you're not going to be able to validate if your idea is good or not either. So you will need to get a traction in some way, some level of awareness. If you already have a business or you have referrals or you already have some connections in your space, that's great because you can just send them over to this new thing you're doing and then you could validate it that way. But assuming you're not, we're going to assume you're taking the harder path and you don't have any connections or anything, you're going to be able to have people come, be aware. And that comes, the way you improve that really is through trust, is through credibility, and is through providing a solution to a pressing problem. It's not about just creating something for the fun of it because you think it's good. You want to actually have data, you want to have proof that the thing's going to work, and that comes through the validation part. And the validation is essentially the way we do it at our venture studio is the initial process of launching, usually the first 30, 60 days. That's a validation stage. And you keep iterating on that process anyways. You're always going to be iterating at the beginning, especially so because you're trying to get the messaging right. You're trying to get the product, the features right, trying to get the support right, trying to get the marketing and sales system right. There's a lot of things to get right. But I'm going to show you the simplest process that we use to take startups to market. And it's going to depend on your funnel type. So we have 4 different funnel types. The first one being a low ticket funnel, which usually could run discounts or any kind of other promotions through this. What this means is that your selling could be a portion of your solution, could be a free trial plus some extra bonuses. You're trying to sell something usually less than $100, between $20 to $97, around that range. You're trying to get someone to purchase a portion of your solution to bridge them in to your business profitably. And this is going to be through paid ads. So your paid ads is going to be the quickest funnel, the best funnel you're going to be using to acquire your first clients. And a lot of paid ads don't work. That's because you're not priced to be profitable through your paid ads. So now we have our first funnel through this, which is a low ticket funnel. And then the next one we have is if you're selling anything that's generally higher ticket, it's usually priced more expensively. This one would be the webinar or a workshop funnel. And what this essentially means is that you're trying to display your expertise. You're trying to show that you're credible. You're trying to convey how well you can solve somebody's problems. And if you were to take them through a workshop, if you're trying to take them through a web class, that's going to demonstrate your ability to solve the problem, your offer, your solution, you yourself, you, your business. It's going to display a lot of these credibility factors when somebody watches you on video for quite some time. And this one, a workshop, the difference between that and a webinar, the workshop, usually you want to sell that for about $50 to $100. Webinar, usually they're free. If you're charging for the webinar, it should be called a workshop because at that point, it's more interactive and it's a higher ticket service you're selling. The next step, The next funnel would be great for you to have as well. This one would be a VSL call funnel. And I will tell you what VSL means in a second. So VSL means a video sales letter, and a video sales letter is essentially just somebody talking on video. You have on your webpage, let's say somebody lands, you have your video up top, you're talking about your offer, you're going through the script of your solution and everything and how you can help them, who this is for. You're trying to narrow down who this is for, how you can help, and some credibility in there as well. And then you're going to ask them to fill out the booking section right below. You're going to have the video and then a call booking section or a form section for them to fill out to book a call right after, if they are part of your program, if they are the right person for your program. So the call will essentially just be a call. They book it and you're trying to close them over the phone. This is if your packages are priced usually over $2,000, $3,000. You would need to put them on a call to make the sale go through easier after that. So I'll go ahead and document the stuff and I'll get back to you in a second. All right, so it gives some more details here. You'll see the low ticket funnel, $27 to $97. And you want to give them a quick win or a microservice that you do for them. Let's say you're doing a video for them, or you could be giving them a web design. You could be going to paint their backyard. You could be delivering some sort of small level package for them, some small level service, anything that's usually the beginning to give them a win. It's not a complicated solution. It's not the whole program you're trying to give them in one shot, and you don't want to make it valueless. You want to make it something that's going to give them the win they're looking for to take them through the next step of your solution. And I'll get into that in a moment. The next one is the webinar. So this one, it's either free, but if you're doing a workshop, one price between $47 and $97. And the video, you should try to aim to be 2 hours. It could be an hour and a half, an hour if it's something that doesn't need that much time. But don't go past 2.5 hours. Keep it between 1 to 2.5. I would say 2 if you want to close the most amount of people possible. Now the next is a VSL call funnel. So you have your video presentation, then you have your phone call, and then you bring them directly into your sales motion. What that means is that you're on the call with them. Hey, quickly checking in that if you need help, we have resources down below, free validation, SaaS development services, anything else you need to bring your startup to market profitably. We have some free resources and we have details about our services down below that you can use to start getting results as soon as possible. Now back to the video. The purpose is to understand their problems, who they are, their goals, and you're trying to close them if they are the right person for your solution. All right, next, after you secure the lead, so for example, you're paying for these ads, people are coming in, they take you up on one of your offers, whichever one makes sense for your business first. You want to send them the confirmation email, and then you want to send them an SMS as well, personalized, not to say, hey, your call, or hey, your video, or hey, this thing starts in an hour or 2 days. You want to send them something of value, saying, introducing yourself, saying, hey, my name's Chris, I work with this company, and we want to double check and see if you're the right fit. And if you could, this isn't exactly what you're going to be telling them, but you want to also make sure that they're the right person to be benefiting from your solution. Email and SMS. The purpose of email is to also send them a confirmation, but you want to also send them some value in the email as well. You're not trying to have just confirmations of, hey, we have 2 hours left till your call, 2 hours left to your video. No one really looks at that. You need to have them, just have probably two of them, no more. But the email is the point of giving them value. Like why people choose you over other solutions. You could be talking about solving the specific problem, giving them some more details about it, giving details about your services, anything that helps them get clarity and understanding on what you're doing. The point of sales and marketing is to get them to really understand what you're doing in a whole picture kind of way, holistically. The more they understand, the faster you're going to be able to take them from, I have no idea who you are, to, I want to work with you, give me your money, or take my money. So then after you have the prospect, they take you up on it, you send them the confirmations, you want to give them a call within the first 2 minutes. It's going to sound tedious, but trust me, it's a huge point of leverage. There are multiple studies done from universities and sales software that when you call somebody that just engaged with your ad, your content, they DM'd you, they messaged you, they emailed you back, the quicker you get back to them, when they're still in that heightened stage of interest, you get to close 4 times more people. They don't have time to really go compare other prices. They don't really care to look at other solutions. But if you got them in that heightened stage where you're like, okay, I'm ready to take action, especially if they paid, and let alone book the call, but they actually paid for your solution, and they're just in the stage of, I need to solve this open loop problem that they kind of created at this point, they're going to go look for it elsewhere. And if you're not answering them, or if you have a long time to get back to them, people are impatient at this stage. You're going to be looking around, asking ChatGPT, going on Google, doing this, doing that. And by the time you get to them, they would have solved their problem through somebody else or their own way, or they would have probably not cared about it over time. They tend to fall off. All right, next, after you call them, you're going to be trying to get in touch with them to see if they're the right fit, trying to speak with them, understand where they are. And at that point, if they didn't book a call with you, or they're not attending the workshop, or you're not sure how they're going to move forward after they buy the low ticket item, you want to book a call with them to actually break down your solution, have another longer call. This one should last about 5 minutes, 10 minutes max. You just want to make sure that they're the right fit and that they're in a position for you to help them. And then the next call is when you actually go through more of the solution and how that would work with them. And then you do like a soft pitch at the end. Sometimes you might need to give them another call back to close them. But at this point, you're going through that sales motion of getting in touch, giving information, and trying to close them at that point. And around that time is also when you're delivering the solution too. So if it's a low ticket funnel, usually you're sending the solution right away. It's usually a quick win. The webinar workshop, usually you're doing it once a week, maybe once a month or once every 2 months, depending on your cadence. But when you have your workshop is when you deliver the solution. But you can have your call before if there's a huge gap between that and giving them the value through your webinar or workshop. If your webinar workshops happening soon, then you could call them right after that and try to close them into your higher ticket program. When I say higher ticket program, this usually means like an annual bundle. If you have a $99 a month service package for your solution, then charging like $1,000 for the year is usually the high ticket thing that you would be pushing for on that call. When I say pushing, I don't literally mean pushing. You're trying to get that point across on your call. The last thing I want to talk about, the closing process. To increase your chances of closing a prospect into your program, into your service, you want to have a downsell option. So if you have a high ticket option, let's say it's 3K for the year for the solution that you're providing, you could downsell something that's probably $500, $1,000, usually about a third or a fifth of the price. So you can get them into something that's still engaged with your company. So you could still help them out if they don't have the finances to get your higher ticket package at this time. Having more options to close them is going to increase your closing rate. And when you're at the start of a new business, a new startup, increasing your closing rate is critical to maximize the amount of revenue for the dollars you put into your paid ads. Now, the next way you can get people into the same funnel that you do is using organic traffic, and that includes a variety of different ways. You can post on social media, including YouTube. You can go to networking events. You can go to any kind of conferences, get a booth, or even just attend it to try to pitch people when it makes sense. You can have SEO articles, post on LinkedIn. You can do cold outreach, including emailing, all that stuff as well. But when you get people through here, you're pitching usually something that could be your book a call, could be your low ticket, could be your webinar, or a lead magnet. So you could be sending these people to your paid ad services, your paid ad funnels, or you could be sending them to a lead magnet, which I prefer that more. Actually, for clarity, let's remove these. You want to send them to your lead magnet, and from the lead magnet is where you take them down the rest of your funnel. The lead magnet is something that needs to be extremely valuable. A PDF, a consultation is not enough anymore. It needs to be something of material value, and it usually should be something that people pay for regardless. So it could be a free service or a free mix of services. It could be a free trial, a free demo for your software. It could be an AI tool that you built that if, let's say, you're a coach and trying to help people solve this specific problem, you're a consultant, you're trying to productize in some way, you could give them a little way to get a quick win. using your own information into an AI tool that's custom, or you could think of something that's pretty creative out there. But essentially, free trials and free services are huge to get people in the door. And once they are interested, you can move them down your funnel, because that means that they're interested in at least what you're doing. So you could then push them into a call, send them some emails, send them some information to try to have them be a client in a sale at the end. So I hope it gave you some clarity on what you can be doing next in terms of how you take somebody who has no idea who you are to moving them down your system, to closing them to be a prospect for your startup, and you can nurture the relationship from there. This also didn't go to say the obvious, where when you're selling software, they could just buy from you on the side. You don't have to close them into anything. They could just purchase your solution and start going at it anyways. This is for closing usually higher price stuff, higher price services, higher price solutions. Because if you are selling software, you should be selling something that costs a few $1,000s and more for people who can afford it, which then cycles back into the revenue pool you can use to pay for ads or build out organic traffic. It's been Chris with CKI, and if you like the video, leave a comment. If you have any questions, of course, leave them down below. And if you want to get the actual framework here, we have a link down in the description for you to check it out. We have also some other links for validating your idea to bring it to market profitably and building out your software solution to make it a full-on business from the start, and website solutions, all that stuff. So if you need help with any of these things, the resources are down below, and I'll see you in the next video.